When Jill was young, she aspired to be an artist or a musician or an architect or an ecologist. Excuse me. Somehow that morphed into becoming a food scientist. Go figure. And that career brought her to the La Crosse area 25 years ago. In retirement, she has returned to her original passions with an emphasis on art and environment. Locally, Jill had her sculpture and painting pieces exhibited at the Pump House in different shows as well as several solo exhibits. She designed the Four Muses ceramic murals on the Weber Performing Arts Center. That's pretty cool.
I did. I am going to do the reading for the day. The following excerpt is from Don't Tell Me to Despair About the Climate. Hope is a right we must protect. Published in Yes magazine, written by Morgan Florsheim. Florsheim is a writer, educator, and optimist specializing in the natural world, the intersections between environmental and social justice work. Quote, in Braiding Sweetgrass, the awe-inspiring book by Indigenous scholar Robin Wall Kimmerer, Kimmerer writes of the endurance of Indigenous people. Despite exile, despite a siege of 400 years long, there is something, some heart of living stone that will not surrender. The climate crisis is not the first time a people has faced the end of the world. As we navigate this latest existential threat, we would do well to listen to Kimmerer and other Indigenous leaders. As I consider how I want to live my life, where to dedicate my energy, I refuse to accept the idea that I must sacrifice all joy to attend to the world's problems. I know myself to be more helpful when I have addressed my own needs for good food and good company, for hope, for long afternoons in the sunshine. The climate crisis is ongoing. And also, a bird is building a nest in the eaves outside my window. Come spring, there will be new birth. In shaky hands, I hold these two truths together, unquote. Great words. Well, we are here in good company, right? Yeah. Well, as a disclaimer, I am not an art therapist. I am an artist, and I am a person who has experienced stress in my life, and art has been my de-stressor. And I'm curious how this is going for all of you. What do you think about being able to draw and listen? Is it a good thing? Is it working for you? Kind of fun? Very good. I think that there's a lot in the world to be anxious about. Climate, politics, war, suffering, extinction of species. You know, it's big and small. It's around us at all times. And we must all find ways to navigate each day and keep hope. For me, art is one of my coping mechanisms. And just a couple stories. I'm not going to talk for a long time, but when I was young, I was an incredibly hyperactive young person. And my dad worked in printing business, and he always carried these little pads of paper around. And whenever I was outside of myself and all over the place, he would just hand me the little pad of paper and a pen, and it was like magic. I just quieted down, and I just started drawing. And so from a very early age, that was my pacifier, is drawing. And it continued and has continued through my life. And in the corporate world, I found it very stressful. And I would be attending meetings, and my note paper was full of scribbles and drawings. And I think the people that were around me, they were mostly very serious men. And they would look at what I was doing and just, I think they were rather disgusted at what they saw. And yet at the end of the conversation, when they asked for my opinion, I usually was able to offer a solution that they all agreed was actually something pretty helpful. And I found that I was able to think with my left brain and draw with my right brain, and it allowed me to find creative solutions. And so I just wanted to have this experiment today where you are drawing and thinking about Earth Day and possible solutions. Now, on the tables, you will see there are some yellow cards or yellow pieces of paper. These are all organizations that members of our fellowship belong to. And just want you to note how many there are, and some of them are local, some of them are national, some are international. And these are all solutions to what's going on in our environment, is different groups that you can participate with and have your voice be amplified. Also pointing out that there are cards, that little cards that look like business cards on the table. And these are cards that we're going to be handing out at Art Fair, not Art Fair, I'm missing, excuse me, Earth Fair and Artspire. And those two events coming up, as Dale announced, we have Earth Fair coming up this coming Saturday, and at 1:15, hopefully you can bring your masks and participate in our procession. It's just going to be a short little procession. We're going to have instruments, and hopefully we make our presence known. It's one of the ways, as a UUer, we can go out into the community and have a voice, even though it's a voice as an animal or a spirit that you're representing. It's kind of a loud, silent presence. And hopefully people are curious, and we hand out the cards and they can find out about our green sanctuary, and they too could help join another group within the local area to do environmental projects. Also wanting to point out that on the instructions, which some of you may or may not have read, I had 3 quotes, and I thought they were interesting. They do regard art therapy. And Eileen Miller, the author of The Girl Who Spoke with Pictures, Autism Through Art, said, quote, "Art can permeate the very deepest part of us where no words exist," unquote. Another is by George Miller, who's a child advocacy artist. He said, "Creating artwork allows your mind to be in a safe place while it contemplates the tougher issues you are dealing with." And third, Natalie Rogers, author of Creative Connection, she was a psychotherapist, artist, healer, and activist, said, "To use the arts expressively means going into our inner realms to discover feelings and to express them through visual art, movement, sound, writing, or drama. This process fosters release, self-understanding, insight, and awakens creativity and transpersonal states of consciousness."